Alright everyone, this is Zero Budget Geek and welcome to Tabletop Simulator featuring the card game ABXY. So the Kickstarter for ABXY is in full swing and now there is a version of the game for Tabletop Simulator available to the public for free as long as you already have Tabletop Simulator. So all you got to do is go to the Steam Workshop and look for ABXY, or you can look down in the description box and you'll see a link to where you can find it. Once you have subscribed to it, then it should automatically upload into your game. So we're going to go ahead and show you what it's like. So we're going to go into a single player game here, and you've got all the regular Tabletop Simulator stuff. We're gonna go ahead, if you look up at the top where it says games, next to that it says Steam Workshop, so you'll go ahead and click onto that and then you'll see any games that you subscribe to. We have ABXY there and it says on Kickstarter now. If you're interested in the Kickstarter, you can go ahead and find the link to that in the description below, but we're gonna click on that and the game will then load. And then so there you go, you start with that's the 20 cards in the game, and then the players have their hands of cards. Let's go ahead and move the camera a bit here, if I can get the controls right. Alright, so we're gonna just get a top-down view over here. So here's our opponent's hands, so we're gonna highlight that. We're gonna actually just bring that over here and we're gonna flip these over, and then we're gonna go ahead and just group them. Yep. Alright, we're gonna try a solo game here. So if you've never played Tabletop Simulator, some of this stuff is not intuitive, but basically you can do most things with just a mouse. So we're gonna bring our cards here. So as you notice, there was a sort of a zone there. Anything in that zone is hidden to our opponent. Once you bring it out, you can see. So we'll leave our cards face up there, and we're gonna play basically we'll try a solo game here and see how it goes. So we're gonna take this stack of cards here and we're gonna go ahead and pick it up and we're gonna shuffle it. So we hold click and then we can shake the mouse and shuffle it up. Whichever is the first creature will go to our opponent, and then we'll alternate. So our opponent will get, let's see what that is. That's Whisper. So let's zoom out here a little bit. So our opponent gets Whisper. We're gonna get, oops, yeah, I'm grabbing the whole thing here. We're gonna grab Bosco. Our opponent gets oh geez, I keep grabbing the whole thing. Alright, there we go. We get this. We get Grumble, which is kind of nice. Our opponent will get Valis. We will get Sweep, who's not terrible, and I'm grabbing the whole yeah, keep long grabbing, and that's not the right way to do it. Our opponent will then get Fade there, and then we're gonna, oh, this is really good. We got Citadel, so we're drawing 5 creature cards each, and our opponent will get Criminal, who's dangerous, and we got Ryle, which is really awesome. All right, we're gonna take this pile of cards here. So this is the 10 remaining, and we're gonna take these cards that our opponent has, and we're gonna go ahead and group those together. Form a power. Everything that our opponent's gonna do is gonna be random, because this Tabletop Simulator, nothing is programmed. There's no scripts here, and we are brand new to doing games on Tabletop Simulator, so pardon if it's not quite perfect. But here we go. So here's our team, and we're gonna need to figure out who's gonna be our starter. Well, we don't want Ryle and Bosco as our starters because why are you wiggling over there? Basically, once they're in, they can't switch out because their switch, the X button is usually the switch, and they have alternate abilities for that. Actually, half of our team here can't switch because Grumble also can't switch. I like Citadel as a starter, so I think we'll go ahead and start off with Citadel, and then the rest will just be, will be our reserve. So let's zoom out here a little bit, and we're gonna need to figure out who our opponent is gonna pick. So we're gonna grab the opponent's team and we're gonna shuffle it up. 3, 2, 1, and he starts off with Kremlin, which is suboptimal. We'll shuffle that again. That's not, nobody in their right mind would use Kremlin as their starter, because Kremlin has an ability that he hurts your opponent when he comes into play, but if you start and play with him, you won't get to use that ability. So we'll go ahead and start off with Whisper here, and let's go ahead and take a look at Whisper a little bit more closely. So Whisper is the invisible assassin. He's an air carnation and he's very light. If Whisper damages her, dies, and then on the same turn that she damaged her foe, she will kill the foe. And then her B button is a negate damage or defeat and switch in any ally. So if you want to see all the rules to this game, I should probably go into that. You can go to the notebook here, and this will tell you all the rules of the game if you don't know it yet. So, and if you want to see a rules explanation on this channel, there is a couple videos that show some gameplay. So we're just going through some tabletop simulator gameplay. All right, so our opponent has Whisper here, and we're gonna go ahead and take the opponent's hand of 4 cards. We're gonna go ahead and shuffle it up. We don't know what he's doing. He's gonna do some random. We're playing a crazy opponent here. So let's see. His first action is gonna be that button, and his second action will be that button. All right, so we need to figure out what we're gonna do here. Well, we probably want to do a cheap shot. So I think very simple strategy here. We'll start with a defend as our first action, and then we'll flip this over so to show that that's our second action. We'll do a cheap shot after that. Okay, let's review the first card. So I'm defending. Hopefully it's an A. So our opponent is taunting. Let's take a closer look at that. So Y overrides X and locks out B. So we were playing, I'll zoom out over here. We were playing B, so that means I was defending, but he didn't do an attack, so my B gets locked out. So as long as Citadel is in the combat, he cannot use his B, which is a bummer. So let's go ahead and flip over our next action and see what our opponent did. And our opponent is also fighting. So we could go, it kind of doesn't matter here, but because, zoom right in here, because Whisper is lighter, technically his attack happens first, so he will hit Citadel, flipping over to the damage side, and then Citadel fights, but because of his cheap shot, it says damage any foe other than the active one. So we can only see one, so we're gonna just pick let's pick this guy here, and we'll flip him over. He's damaged, and put it there. Now normally when you have other players, you would see all their guys, but for this solo game, I'm just kind of, to make it a little bit more difficult for myself, I'm just kind of putting them random. So I damaged that guy that's on top there, which was Fade. All right, and then we are done with the buttons. So let's take these two, and we're gonna group them, and then we're gonna flip them over and put them back on the pile there. And we're gonna take it, shuffle it up, and then pick 2 new actions for our crazy opponent. Crazy opponent is just doing random moves here. All right, so we get our A back, but we can't get our B back because it is locked out. So let's see what we want to do. I could switch, but you know, I already got a damage on that guy there. I'd like to hit him again. Let's try taunting our opponent first. No, you know what? We'll do that second. And then we're gonna try, actually a taunt kind of doesn't matter. Yeah, well, oh, you know what? Sweep is actually faster than Whisper, so let's try to sneak in an attack there, and then we're gonna actually switch after that. So let's see how this goes. It's kind of hard to plan because our opponent is just doing random things, so we don't know. So our opponent's first action is he's taunting, which overrides X or locks out B, which was neither of those. So we do a damage. We're gonna go ahead and damage Fade here, who's already damaged, so now he is defeated. So we'll throw him off to the side over there, and we've defeated one of our opponent's 5 creatures. We need to get all 5. All right, let's resolve these second buttons. So he is defending now. Let's zoom in here. Whisper's B negates damage or defeat, and then he can switch in any ally. So he's gonna block our attack if we were doing it, but we weren't doing an attack, so we were, already forgot what we were doing. We were switching, so let's go by weight. So we know that Whisper is lighter, so Whisper blocks, but we weren't attacking, and then switches in. We're just gonna switch the top one here and go ahead and go there. So now this guy Dallas is in the fight. Now one thing about Dallas that's interesting is that, let's zoom in a little bit closer. Dallas is a fire insect right now, and he cannot be damaged by fire foes. But if we flip him over, he's the only one that actually changes on the other side. He's called Alaska, and he becomes a water insect and becomes immune to water foes. That is the only character in the game that actually changes depending what side he's on. Okay, and then now our switch happens. So who are we gonna switch into? I think we want to switch into Fade. I'm not sure I want to switch into these other guys just yet. So let's bring him out. And because Fade has a very low weight, so he often gets to do things before the opponent. All right, we're gonna get our cards back, and because Citadel switched out, we get our B button back. So let's go ahead and put that there, and let's zoom back out, and then these buttons here, we'll go ahead and group, and then put them back with the others, and we'll go ahead and shuffle these up. And I'm just trying to do a quick sample game. Obviously, when you're playing against a real opponent, it's going to be a lot different, and you'll be able to see all the opponent's things. But I'm just trying to sample, sample game with some random stuff going on. All right, so let's see. So Dallas's X button, which replaces his switch, means he negates and counters our X. So he prevents us from switching, and he will hurt us if we try to switch. So we don't want to do switch. I definitely don't want to do that. I think we're going to go for a fight. Just try to attack him right away. Even though a Y would be good, because Sweep's Y button is challenge, negate, and lock out X or B. That actually wouldn't be terrible. So I do want to try to hit him though. So let's go ahead and taunt and then fight as our second. I'll flip this just to show that it's our second button. Move these over here. All right, and also Sweep has a special ability. Sweep's actions cannot be negated. It's talking about buttons, and we'll see if that happens. Our opponent did play a fight, which, oh, that's terrible. So my taunt only affects X or B. Actually, I'm not doing taunt, I'm doing challenge, which still affects X or B. But he didn't play that, so Sweep gets damaged here. And then we'll go ahead and reveal our second. Now I am fighting, and our opponent is defending. So even though Sweep is faster, defend the negate on that. Let's take a closer look at that. It says negate and counter damage. That supersedes speed. So he's going to block my attack and then hit me in return. So Sweep is defeated, which was terrible. So let's get our buttons back here. I played that way wrong. And then we're done with the buttons, so we can actually put these away. And let's see, I have to choose. Well, let's go ahead and get this stuff ready for the other round. So we'll shuffle these up. That's the first action and second action. All right, I do have to replace my character here, and I probably will go with do I go with Citadel? I think I think I will go with Citadel. If Citadel dies, then I can bring in Rao and try to bring some guys back. So we'll put Citadel there. And now I got to pick my buttons. Well, I do want to do a cheap shot. Let's try defending and then an attack. Or should I attack first and then defend? We'll do it this way, because if he gets killed, he shouldn't. All right, let's see how this works. This is my second button, so I'm going to flip it over. All right, B versus B. So they both defend, nothing happens. And then I attack, and our opponent is attempting to, well, he's not. He's actually trying to latch, which would negate and counter X, but we did not play X, so that's not going to do anything. So our cheap shot is going to go off, and it's going to hit Whisper over here. Let me just grab Whisper. Flip them over, and again, playing against a regular opponent, you'd have a team of guys that you can pick from. We're just focusing on the one on top here for this solo play, and that's pretty much it for the round. So put these there, and we'll get these cards ready for the next round. And the way I'm doing this, you could actually play this with the real cards this way if you want to just like play the game and practice as a solo. I think it's not terrible. You can even challenge yourself and maybe go through a gauntlet of like maybe 10 of your opponent's guys, but we haven't tested anything like that. Right now I'm just trying to show you how the tabletop simulator works and how, you know, the game plays in that. So what do I want to do here? I think I want to try the same thing and try to kill Whisper there. We'll try to block and then do the attack. Actually, I'm going to switch it up, and maybe this is a bad idea, but we'll attack first and then defend second. So let's see what happens. So he is taunting, which overrides, zoom that, overrides X or locks out B. We did not play that. We did the cheap shot. So the cheap shot is going to go ahead and kill Whisper there. So Whisper's gone. Go ahead, go away. And now we'll reveal our second buttons. I was defending. What is our opponent doing? He is also defending, so nothing will happen there. That's good. That worked out in my favor. Now, when you're playing against a real opponent, there's going to be a lot of head games trying to figure out what to do, and you're trying to psych each other out. Okay, let's put the first button there and the second button, and then I can put these back. And yeah, I think that's a plan. I think we'll keep on with Citadel. If he dies, we'll bring in Ryle and try to have Ryle resurrect Citadel and sweep over there, because Ryle, let's get a closer look at Ryle, one of my favorite guys here. He is an angelic predator. If a round ends without damage being dealt, Ryle heals, and his X ability is Fairy, return a damaged ally to play in damaged conditions. So very useful ability, and we need to decide what we're gonna do here. I think we'll do what we did earlier. We'll defend and then do a fight as the second action there. Okay, what is he doing? He's trying to switch, which only affects my X, and so nothing happens there. And then his second is taunt, override X and or lock out B, but I played A, so that does nothing. So we're gonna damage this over here. Oops. We're going to damage this and put them right back on top there. And we'll put these over. So obviously playing this way against against sort of a very simplistic AI, not very fair, because I think we're kind of doing really well. We also drafted or got lucky and got dealt some really good characters. And I think we're just going to keep with that plan, but we're going to switch things up a little. We'll fight first this time and then go with a defend next. And let me just flip that over just to show that it's going to be my second move. And then, oh, he does that switch again. So I damage and kill this over here. Now, one bad thing about Citadel is that he really can't attack the opponent directly, only with a B. So let's see what the second button is over here. He is attacking versus my B. So my B negates damage and counter damage. So I will hit Alaska there. So Alaska or Dallas is damaged and he turned into Alaska. All right, put these there. I'll flip these over and just put that on top of there. And we'll get our buttons back here, and we're gonna go to a new round. So I mean, Citadel, man, he is just dangerous. If left unchecked, he can really demolish your team. So our opponent needs to kind of get lucky and put some attacks. So if this was a human player playing, they probably would have long killed Citadel, because they would have definitely been playing a lot more attacks. But again, this is just like a really simplistic trial. Oh, I almost revealed it. We need to pick our buttons. I think I'm just gonna go back to what I did. We'll defend second, attack first, and see what happens. All right, let's flip this over there. All right, so that's actually not good because it negates. Hold on a second. Let's look closer. So we do say it says negate and counter damage. However, Citadel has the Venom ability. Damage dealt by Citadel cannot be negated, and this damage is actually not going to this to the ant here. So this actually will not defend against that A, and that A will instead hit Kremlin over here, flipping him over to the damage side. And then we're gonna reveal our second button, which I was defending. Let's see if he attacked. No, he taunt. So that's actually pretty good. So he locks out my B with that. So my B is unusable by Citadel now. So we'll go ahead and take our buttons back, group these. Oops. I tell you, the tabletop simulator controls are not always intuitive, but once you get used to it, it's not terrible. So yes, I'm pretty much demolishing our opponent here, but what do you expect? It's just kind of pulling out random cards. A human would be much more of a challenge. And don't think that Citadel is overpowered, that he's just demolishing him. He's just really bad if you leave him unchecked. But since he can't attack directly to opponent, you don't really need to block. You can just attack him not with reckless abandon, because he can still defend against it, but you know, you still have a good chance of hitting him. So now we can't defend. Let's go ahead and try to taunt first. Actually, let's just try to do the A and then taunt. Alright, let's see how this works out. So he will do X, only affects my X, so my attack kills Kremlin there. And then his second button is a defend versus my Y, which, oh boy, this is terrible. So he gets his B button locked out, and now since he's the last guy, he can't switch out. He'll never get that B button back. So we're pretty much demolishing our opponent at this point. And now I'm gonna need to switch, because now Citadel, the only way for Citadel to hit Alaska here is with the B button, but his B button is locked out. So we're gonna have to switch out, and we're gonna play the switch first, and then I think whoever comes in, we're gonna just play an A with and try to just get a hit in. That seems like the most likely move. Let's shuffle these, and here's his first action and then second action. So let's reveal it. He is taunting versus my X, so that means he overrides my X, which is kind of bad. So the way we'll resolve this, we'll put all these cards together, and we'll go ahead and shuffle. Whoever's on top, whoever's on top will be the one that gets switched in. So 1, 2, 3, and it is Bosco that comes in. That's unfortunate. I wanted to bring in Grumble. All right, so Bosco is the one that gets switched in. And now let's resolve our second buttons. So Bosco is fighting. Let's fix that there. Bosco, oh geez, come on. Bosco is fighting, and he is doing a switch, which only affects my switch. So Bosco will damage him. I can't get these cards keep snapping to each other. All right, so why did I flip him? He was already damaged, so he is defeated. So that's basically how ABXY goes. And you know, again, with a real opponent, you know, there's a lot more thinking and strategizing and trying to outguess what they do. But I really just wanted to show you what it looks like on Tabletop Simulator. And I hope you guys give it a try, and you know, let us know what you think. We'd love some feedback. And if you have ideas on how to make this better, please let us know. But guys, that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.